in control. LinkedIn's Mad Hatter, spinning up laughter and beats to move your feet. Building and boosting the roof of a Saturday night. Nick's never in control. LinkedIn's Mad Hatter, spinning up laughter and beats to move your feet. Building and boosting the roof of a Saturday night. Let the music take control. Feel the rhythm in your soul. Building and boosting the roof of a Saturday night. Nick's never in control. Feel the rhythm in your soul. Building and boosting the roof of a Saturday night.
Born for this, born to write, born to speak up, born to fight, born to dream in the dead of night. The gifted bipolar writer, shining so bright. Never in control, but in control of fate. Learning to navigate through love and hate. Rising above with every twist and turn. Embracing the fire as we watch it burn. Embracing the chaos, finding the light. Breaking the chains, taking flight. Riding the waves with all our might. Writing our story in black and white. Never in control, but in control of fate. Learning to navigate through love and hate. Rising above with every twist and turn. Embracing the fire as we watch it burn. Through the highs and lows, we find our way. In the darkest moments, we still find day. The pen in our hand, the power we hold. The story unfolds as we break the mold. Never in control, but in control of fate. Learning to navigate through love and hate. Rising above with every twist and turn. Embracing the fire as we watch it burn. Through the highs and lows, we find our way. darkest moments, we still find day. The pen in our hand, the power we hold, the story unfolds as we break the mold.
Hello and welcome to Nick Never in Control. We have a very, very exciting lineup. And tonight we are going to be talking about why become a published co-author. So hang on to your hats and your seats, guys, because I hate to disappoint. You're certainly going to hear a lot about becoming published during this episode. There are going to be a lot of mythbusters out there, if you will. I'm Nick, host of Never in Control of the Live Show. I am also about to make a huge announcement. Nick has now fully stepped into the entrepreneurship journey and is officially guiding Brilliant Writers, LLC. I have stepped away from my love at Island Elevator and I'm now in business for myself. So I want to invite you all. I want to thank you all for your continued support, for helping me to continue to grow, and for giving me the opportunity to be where I am today. When I started as a gifted bipolar writer 2 years ago, I never imagined, never, that I would one day open my own company and become my own boss. It's scary, it is, but the rewards are immense. It's not just about financial stability and the freedom to do, or rather organize your time the way you would like to, because not do, you still have to work. What I get, however, is a chance to live my life by my terms. And I hope for everyone, to be honest, at some point in their life, they feel that they are able to encapsulate some of that. All right, I am not going to delay because we have quite a few guests to speak with and quite a few questions. So I'm going to go rambling on, except to say my remote producer, Aaron Gibson, is amazing. And if you loved my intro, which I already know you did, you definitely need to get one for yourself. And you need to hit Aaron up. I did just do that. And if you don't know who Aaron is, you could come bother me and maybe I'll share my remote producer. Maybe. I'm just kidding. I will. All right. So Aaron, I am going to ask you to bring all of my guests up. We are not going to be going one by one tonight. We are going to be having an open conversation. I'm not even going to go round robin. I trust that we will just, okay, in Felipe's case, maybe not just, right, but I want this to be a very open conversation because I want the audience to be a part of it. They may not be here on screen with us, but we could certainly see their questions and comments. And I would like for all of us to read out a question if you see it, and feel free to answer it. Read out a comment if you see it. So
I'm going to read one right now. I'm just saying, because Lisa says that's a big step, Nick, the GBW, but you're stepping into your greatness. Congrats. So
very much appreciated.
Yeah. I echo that. I echo that as well. I think you're so inspiring to so many people, Nick. And you've taken us on a journey with you, and you've shared the highs and lows, and it's something that you are really doing, something that a lot of people sometimes are afraid to do, is chase their dream. So yes, I applaud you, and it's great to see everyone. And Sia, I do have one question for Sia when she's out there. how do I sound, Sia? And she'll know what that means.
Oh, she will. I saw that post. That's hilarious. And incidentally, Sia, when I met her, a few years ago, before I started all of this, I was Raquel Flores' first guest. And after doing a few live shows, I harassed Sia nonstop for like 2 months. I need to buy a mic. What mic should I buy? I need to buy a headset. What headset should I buy? And she sent me so many links, and she was probably like, is this girl going to pull the trigger like ever? And I eventually did, and I totally did not buy anything that she told me to buy. But, I kind of like that you said that, and that brought me back to this, because it really highlights the fact that we all start somewhere. And, you could start really and truly not knowing where to start. But you ask questions, and your network grows, and your friendships grow, and you just keep asking questions. And then one day you actually find that you're the one answering the questions. It's quite interesting. And I've asked questions of all of you. And now we're going to answer questions for all the people in the audience. So, I said not go round robin, but maybe let me just at least throw out the questions. Let's start there. I have published as a co-author with several other publishers. And at the end of 2023, after co-authoring in 3 books, I said, now it's the next step, which was publish. And I did. And that took me on a new journey, a journey of being the publisher. Last year, I did publish an anthology as well as a trilogy of anthologies. It's been a journey, to say the least, but one that I realized that I was built for. There's really and truly no other way to say it. I learned so much about myself and abilities that I did not know I even possessed. And with every co-author that I've worked with, which is now 62, I have learned something more about myself. So they came for their reasons. I run a business for my reason, but I walked away with 62 other reasons to keep staying and doing what I do. And to take this plunge that is extremely scary. And know in my heart that my passion and my determination is enough. It's going to be more than enough to get me to where I'm going. So, all right, let's dive in. The lovely questions that I get asked as a publisher when I approach someone, and yes, we do approach, okay? Back up. I approach. I can only speak now as to the publisher that I am. I put it on social media. I'm doing a book. Yes, absolutely. People ask me questions. I answer them to the best of my ability. However, I do slide into DMs and I do ask questions. And it's not a bitchy kind. And the reason I say that is, based on the books that I'm doing, I think of my community and I observe people in the home feed. Because it's not just about signing up X amount of people and making X amount of dollars and moving about my day. I need for these books to be filled with the impactful stories that speak to the book. So if somebody is going to purchase a book and they open that book, they are expecting to see and read certain stories. So it has to be, the value's got to go both ways. I need my writers to feel that their story is super valuable in the book, and I need the reader to feel that they need to read this book for that value. So let's start there. I have certainly turned people away after 2 hours of conversation because they really, really want to write, but they're really, really not sure if this story sits. And I really, really say to them, I don't think it really sits either. But I am doing X book at the end of the year called Legacy. Maybe that's something you might be interested in. Somebody might say, oh my God, you just let a paying client walk away. No, that paying client will return when the time is right. What I did is I left a spot open for a paying client that needs to be in this book. That's what I did. So, what do publishers do? Why would people pay to publish? And that ties into what do publishers do? Because people are probably thinking, well, I'm going to hand you over my money and my story is going to appear in a book and it's going to be on Amazon and that's it. Oh, you have no idea what goes on in between. None. Unless you're a publisher, you don't know what goes on in between. I've had this question asked too. Are you going to pay me to publish your story? What do I get out of being published? And can I make money from being a published author? So I threw all those questions out, blow up the comments, but this is where my guests are going to help answer these questions. Right? Jenlyn has published 4 times. Sharon 5, Felipe 2 just last year, and Leslie, how many times have you published? We'll start with Leslie then.
12.
12.
And I will tell you that, and I didn't tell you this, but I've also published 17 books as a publisher for other people. So the one thing I will tell you, if you ever wonder about the fee that your publisher charges, whatever it is, it's not enough, because the work is 24/7, 365, highly technical and grueling. So you have to really love it to do it, because it's not a lot of money.
Okay. And listen, backstage we were having a little chit chat, right? And it's always with a theme of the show, you know, people might want to know what we're going to talk about. And I can't say I prep much for shows, or I even prep my guests. I'm terrible. I believe just authentic conversation is where it's at. And I want full transparency, always. That's how I've always been, and I expect no less from people around me. I think that I lead by example. I have done things as a publisher that people have probably freaked out about. Did you just share a screenshot of your bookshelf? Your Kindle bookshelf? Yes, I just did.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
I did just show you how much was made in royalties on the launch day at 99 cents for the ebook. I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I said X was made and the Gifted Bipolar Writer is going to match X, and we're going to do that donation that we said we were going to do to that nonprofit. Because the money that you make is not on the published book sales. I can tell you that right now as a publisher. You make a couple of bucks on a book, and how many books you got to sell to actually make something to earn a living on that, right? So where the money is made as a publisher for me is upfront. What I charge you to publish your book.
That's right.
But you're thinking to yourself, $500, $600, what is she, nuts? Okay. Zoom number 1, co-author meetup. Zoom number 2, draft overview. 1 hour one-on-one final chapter review with me. All of your promotional materials, starting with co-author announcements, coming soon. Launch date. And yes, I will call it each and every time international, or better yet, number 1 international best-selling author. You're getting 4 graphics coming out from me.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting constant promotion from me on my social media. You're on my live shows, and when the audio room was there, you want the audio room, and now that's going to be coming. Because if you think that this was a lot with a full-time job, can you imagine now with 7 days a week what's happening? That's what's happening. So there's so much more that I'm not sharing that goes in, all the editing, all the formatting, right? All the ideas and creativity.
Yeah, you're talking.
Even with the editing and the formatting, there is still a level of creativity that is needed to set yourself apart.
Yeah.
So your book can highlight the writers in it at the highest level possible. That means bringing your creativity to the table. So it is so much more. And No, I'll be quiet. Sorry.
I was just going to say everyone, should just take literal full advantage of the fact that you're not really ever actually asking for your worth, because if you were, it would be 5,000, 10,000, 15,000. It goes so far beyond all of that. As a publisher, you're jumping in, right, to have people, you're pulling out to amplify the story that someone has that's inside of them, especially first time writers, second time writers, third time writers even don't even know, how do I start this story? What is the part that's most important? And what's going to carry what it is that I want? And that's your specialty as a publisher, right? Is being able to bring that up and pull that forward. It's calls in the middle of the night. I know that you talk to people in the middle of the night, and that you talk to people for hours at a time until you get it where it's, pulled up into that place. Everything that everyone does is so much more. We know that, but it's really incredible to work with certain publishers. And I published 4 times last year, but I've worked with 3 different publishers and been around other publishers other than that. And I know what you put in and what you pull out is completely different every time, and each publisher that it is that you're working with. I think that being able to tell your story and share your story for others to be able to lean into whatever it is that the subject matter of the book is about, and what it is that you're about. That's why you work with a publisher. You work with a publisher to help bring that forward for you. If you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you are a specialist in something, if you're a survivor, a thriver, if you're about resilience, if you're about mental health awareness, whatever it is that you're about, if you're doing something and wanting to be able to amplify that, storytelling is a way to do that. Being published is a way to do that. Eternal, right? And have people be able to lean into themselves all the way around. That ripple effect from being published is huge.
Thank you, gentlemen. And
Nick, if I may, I just wanted to say, I've been blessed to actually get to know what it means to be behind the scenes, because most people know that I have helped you with the editing and formatting and talking to people and things of that nature. And I just want to reiterate and re-emphasize that there is so much more that goes into publishing a project or a book, or however you want to say it, than you can ever imagine. And I have had the pleasure of working with multiple publishers at this point. And my experience working with each publisher has taught me a lot about publishing, a lot about people, and a lot about myself. And the way that I choose a publisher now, or whether I'm going to get involved with a project, very much so has to do with who's publishing it, what their objective is, how they go about the entire process as a whole, from the author call to the end product. And because the message that I want to put out is very important to me, and my integrity is very important to me. And so I will not work with any publisher who does not align with my core values in terms of where I want my message and story to go. And I can tell you from my experience that not all publishers work the same way. And you really have to find who you mesh with. And maybe for some topics, it'll be one publisher. Maybe for another topic, it'll be another publisher. But ultimately, for me, at least at this point, and I'm not just saying this because I'm here tonight, for me, that publisher is Nick. because for me, Nick checks off all my boxes of what I want in somebody representing me as a publisher and as a whole project, and the caliber of people that she brings in to the projects that she spearheads.
I appreciate that. And I think that, you know, not just the publisher, as you said, because there are many publishers out there and you will work with different publishers throughout your writing journey for different reasons. But it is very important as well for you to know who you are writing with, who is in the chapter before you and after you. Your branding is aligning with other brands. And we take that very, very seriously on a day-to-day basis in our businesses. So do not discount it when you are being a part of an anthology, because your brand is represented in there alongside other brands.
Mhm.
And that is the reason why I'm definitely going to bring you up this. That's why everybody is grouped together way before the project to get an opportunity to see and know each other's profiles and such like that. And that's why there's a course, because that has nothing to do with the book. It's about meeting each other. And from the very beginning, understanding why each person chose to be a part of the project. Because just that one question that each person answers says a lot about why they're here. And there are many, many, many reasons, right? But it is good for you to know upfront who you're working with. And not even just who you're working with, because by the time it's all said and done, many, many times you're walking away with a lot of new friends, a lot of new collaboration possibilities. So Leslie, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, don't apologize. I think that it's pretty clear that you're the publisher of choice, and you're publishing my book too.
At the moment.
But I would like to address some of the things that people ask about.
Please.
Why should they do it? Can I make any money? And a couple of the things is that okay?
Yes, certainly.
Okay.
What can you make money is a very good one, because I have factual things here.
Well, okay, so a lot of people are given or get the impression that as a co-author, that is, you're writing one chapter in a book, you're not an author, you're a co-author, because authors write the whole book, and they are the authors. We are co-authors. Regardless of what it is, it's the publisher who makes the money. And the only way you're going to make money, and this is how I made some money years and years ago, I started in 2009 with my first book, was when I would go to speak to different groups. In the back of the room, there was a table where you could sell your books. And so you have to be the marketer. Anybody who gives you the impression, any publisher who lets you believe that you're going to make money off the sale of those books may not be being transparent. And then the publishers who insist that their co-authors are authors, well, that really takes away from the author who's done their own book. So I think that the real part here that's important, there are two things. One is the amount of money you invest, and can you recoup it, right? You can if you work your butt off. You have to do the work. And, the breaking through the fear and the excitement of actually being published. I mean, it is very exciting the first time it happens. And I was trying to think, well, why do I have 12? Well, part of it is I'm old. So I've just been writing for a lot of years, and I've been invited to a lot of anthologies. And I'll write a chapter. I'm a writer. I don't mind. So at first I thought, well, it was very prideful. Oh, I got another one. Oh, I got another one. Then all of a sudden I said, why am I doing all of these? What does it show? Because really the ones that I love the most are the ones that I wrote completely myself. But we can repurpose or chapter in a number of different ways, right, Dick? Because we own the rights to that. So that's another way to make
And
money.
thank you for bringing that up, because people have asked me that question as well. And there is a basic contract that you will sign with me, and you do own the rights to your chapter, and you can repurpose your chapter however you wish to. You may not share your chapter before the book is published. You can't use the book cover, and put that to your chapter, but you can reuse it however you wish to. I like a lot of the points that Leslie brought up, because when you think about making money, for example, right? Or when you think for your ROI on your investment, that doesn't necessarily have to be monetary.
Exactly.
Meaning, not monetary from the sale of the book that you're in, because we all market. We all market what we do. We market ourselves every single day on social media when we're here. We market our work. We market our businesses. This is also another way to market, and your return on investment may not be from the profits you make on reselling the book. It may just be that you reach the markets that you want, the target markets you want to reach, the people you want to reach, and in turn earn a client, an actual client, based on what it is you do, because they learned about you and what you do in the book.
Can I
Right?
add?
So,
Oh, sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
no problem. I want to give Felipe an opportunity, because Felipe is one of the newer published co-authors. And that's why I invited guests that are at different levels in their publishing journey. I wanted somebody that published, and that was newly published, and somebody that is like Leslie, who has published for a very long time and very many books, and people in between who are also running their businesses, right? Because Felipe, all these people on here have a business. Let's start there. Some also have their own jobs, full-time jobs with other companies, as I did just recently. So there's so many perspectives here on this one topic. So Felipe, please join the conversation.
No, I mean, and thank you for inviting me, Nick. And I've spoken about this experience a lot of writing, because that is not an area that I ever even considered an avenue for myself. The only thing I ever wrote was I got asked like 15 years ago to write a paragraph in a textbook for a hotel textbook at Cornell. And that was it, a little paragraph there. But when Nick reached out to me, here are my top 5 reasons. Here's Felipe's 5 reasons why I think Nick is a great publisher to consider if you're thinking about doing this, whether it's the first time, second, 5th, 20th, I don't care. Is one, I think other people have said this, you learn from her, you learn the experience. She teaches you what people are looking for. She helps you understand if you're lacking something that she's seen in you, she helps bring it out. So you really learn about the process, you learn about yourself. Number 2, you get exposure and new opportunities. I mean, I can't tell you, just to be able to say that I've co-authored a book, that adds some level of credibility to me when I speak to certain people about certain topics. Mm-hmm. I've gotten opportunities to speak at events because of being mentioned as a co-author. The first book that I co-authored was about LinkedIn. I have recently been asked to help out this nonprofit that has a number of people that are basically being displaced and need help updating their LinkedIn profiles, and they thought of me. At the end of the day, that's a huge branding, marketing kind of mentality that you want. When people think, I need help with this certain area, who do I call? And if you're the person they think about, then you're doing something right. And that being an author, that gave me exposure and opportunities to highlight some of those strengths. The third thing is the community. The community of people, the people on this call, all the other 60 some authors that we've got exposed to over time, the relationships, the stories, the help and support. There's laughter, there's some tears. I mean, people got very raw and real with some of these stories, and it really opens people's up to being real with other people and building those relationships. The fourth one, it gives you and this is one of the biggest gifts, in my opinion, for me at least, was it gives you courage to try new things afterwards. I now am thinking about, well, not thinking, I've been working on a children's book that I wanted to write when my daughter was born 25 years ago. Well, now maybe my daughter will read it to my grandkids, but the book, after doing this with Nick, I wrote it all out. It's all written. Now it's just about the illustration. And I like to sketch and draw, so I'm really like anal about the illustration. But that's something that, because of Nick, it gave me the courage. And then the fifth and last thing is, I put down ties to family, but I'm going to change the fifth one. The fifth one is really the surprises that you didn't expect, because you don't know what you might open up and realize. You might find out that you had a relative that was an author in your family for many years. You're like, oh, I didn't even know that. So somebody else in the family liked to write, and you start getting connections to your history and your culture. For me, and this is where I'll end, is the first chapter book I wrote, which was the LinkedIn one. The second one about my family, that definitely was emotional. But the first one, LinkedIn, that's not emotional, that's business, right? And I gave it to my mother and she wanted to read it. So she read my chapter, and I came back down to the kitchen and she was crying. And I said, Mom, you okay? What's wrong? She's like, I'm reading the chapter in your book. I go, Mom, it's LinkedIn. It's not worth your tears. It really is not. I mean, I don't know. Have you been drinking? Is everything okay? She's like, no, you don't understand. It's like, you write like your father. I'm like, what? And my father is so much, like, he had PhDs. He was an excellent writer. I go, I don't have that skill set. She's like, not that you write grammatically as well as your father. The style of writing, you write and sound like your father. And I never would have known that if Nick had not opened up the opportunity to me. So there's those 5 reasons why I think that Nick is amazing as a publisher. And if you're thinking about it, why you should reach out to her.
Oh, thank you. Olivia's awesome 5. Sorry.
Sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
No, I just, I loved what everyone has shared. We have 4 different people on stage here who've all shared with you their reasons for choosing to participate in an anthology project, and who have either authored their own full book, like Leslie, or who are anticipating authoring their own book as well soon, like Felipe. I do want to address a couple of the comments that I see popping up. I don't want the audience to feel that you're not part of this, because you are, and as in all live shows, the information always comes out first. So, a couple of things. I do realize that some of the things I might share might be a little bit different than people's experiences with other publishers, right? For me, I have set my standard. It's as simple as that. I set my standard based on my core values. My core values do not fluctuate depending on whom I work with. Who I work with would either resonate or not resonate with my core values. It's that simple for me. I have made it very clear throughout my anthologies that I expect the people that work with me in these books to refer to them as co-authors and themselves as co-authors. I will be working on my own solo book soon, and I will be a published author. Until then, I'm a published co-author. I may be a publisher, but I'm a co-author in 11 books. That's what I am. I've written 1 chapter. Now, that doesn't mean that my chapter, 1 chapter, is less valuable than a full book that somebody has written. It simply differentiates the amount of work and time that has gone into one to the other. Again, we're at all different stages. We all want different things for different reasons. When I think of a teacher and I think of a teacher's assistant, I do think they're different. Okay? I think that they've reached different levels of where they are in their education and in terms of what they're able to give, where they are in their line of work at that point. Now, does it mean that the teacher's assistant is any less valuable than the teacher? No. We're all valuable. There is a value to every single status, position, whatever the hell you want, the word you want to use, right? But the 100% is within that space. So I have, in my opinion, #1 international best-selling co-authors in my anthologies. Because the work that they've invested as a co-author, they are now a #1 international bestseller. Now, that does not mean that I wrote the book on definitions. Anyone and everyone will have an opinion, and I respect that. All I ask from anyone who has written with me, they all know the rules with me. They all do. The minute I see a post up there that says author, I tell them to pull it down and fix it. Why? Because I can't do that. And it's not about being bossy or the boss. This is my brand. Okay, this is my brand. This is Nick. This is what Nick represents. And this is my core values. So yes, if you come to work with me, you have to align with me. I have to align with you. I have to be willing to put my brand behind you. You are publishing in my anthology. It says published by, right? Stories compiled by. So I'm taking your story and putting it on my shoulders, on my name. And in turn, you now can turn and go elsewhere and say, I've worked with, and she's published X. So this circle is only going to get bigger. It's 62 now. At some point, it's going to be 6,200. Right? And those first 62, where do you think they're going to be in the lineup of the 6,200? They're going to be one of the founding co-authors. And that's how it goes. It goes like this.
Yeah, and
Not like this, but not like this leading to the top. It goes like this. It keeps building, but guess what? There ain't no pyramid with no foundation bottom. So it's
there you go.
And Nick, can I just say one more thing real quick? Because with everything you've shared, you talked on this before, but you got to know your reason why you're doing this.
Yes.
And again, if you're doing it for the money, that is not, unless you're Stephen King or Nora Roberts or somebody like that, guess what? You're not going to make a lot of money. But also think about, besides all the opportunities we mentioned, what is your why for doing this? Is it because you have a story in you that you want to get out? Is it because you've lived a long life and you want to leave a legacy? You got to find that why. And it's something that is so important, because a lot of times we get in our heads about it. And my mother, who's been writing her life story for the last 3 years, she kept on stopping because she wanted people to look at it. And we're like, get it all out. Just get it all out. And then we all can go over it. But if you stop and go, this could take you 3 times as long. And someone like Nick helps you kind of work through that process. So I just wanted to add that real quick.
Can I piggyback on something that Felipe said? So I have been a writer since I'm about 9 years old. Writing has been a method of coping for me with all of life's curveballs and opportunities and challenges. So I was a writer before I even knew what journaling was, what writing was. And I'll be honest, I've had people all of my life telling me you should be published, you should be published. And it wasn't until I got the opportunity to work with a different publisher that I got published. That experience ignited my love of writing again. It connected me with my gift of writing. And I can say that with my head held high and confidently now. But I want to say this. It was through my work with Nick, both as a co-author and as somebody helping her behind the scenes, that I really got to lean into everything that I always felt that writing could give. And it's not about the money. I'm telling you right now, if you're thinking about doing this to make money, and I know this has been said, but I want to reiterate it. If you're thinking about doing this to make money, then you got to reassess your why. Because my why for writing is not about the money. okay, everybody knows we all have a business. So if I can make a few bucks off of writing, I'm not going to not accept that money. But it's more than that. Writing for me is cathartic. It's therapeutic from a personal and professional standpoint, but it's about reaching people from at a different medium, at a different level. There are people that I had not heard from, didn't know who they were. I have people that I knew since childhood that are now reading my chapters and saying to me, holy crap, thank you for doing this. And they're asking me if there'll be more. So my reason for doing this is it's another way to let people know that they're not alone. It's another way to give people strategies or a playbook for how to survive something or how to get through something. And it's also about leaving a legacy that is going to live far beyond my presence in this physical world as Sharon Byrne. I may come back in a different form, but as Sharon Byrne, these are the legacies, these stories, these lessons are the legacies that I am lucky enough to get to leave behind. And I am lucky enough to have met somebody like Nick, where it means as much to her as it means to me and all of the authors that she works with. And you can use it as to amplify yourself, but don't really dig into your why. And if your why is coming from your heart, then that's the one you follow. If it's coming from your head, it needs to be reevaluated.
Thank you so much. And I love so many of the comments that are coming up about it being a business card.
Yes.
Yes, it certainly is. It's just a unique kind of, well, I won't say unique, but it is another type of business card because we really have so many different types of business cards out there. I did see somebody ask as well if we're open to come on stage for comments tonight. I do apologize, we're not tonight, but there will be times when I will be. We will also be on YouTube. Unfortunately, this event was supposed to stream there. I'm not sure. We had a little glitch. I did see Leslie had her hand up. So Leslie, we're going to end with you sharing. I'm not end, but rather I know you'd like to see something. I take it back. You want to see something? Go ahead. Because then after that, I am running a little video, something that I created for you guys as my guest on tonight, and then we'll pick up the conversation after that. But go ahead, Leslie.
I won't speak much at all because I know Jen Lynn wanted to say something too. And I do want to say this. If you have money, you can get on the New York Times bestseller list. If you have $100,000, I will connect you with someone who will put you there. So people that are on that, they pay their way in. When you see, we were talking about this before, when you see people on the front of a magazine cover, look at me. They paid for it. It's a pay to play. So there's another lack of transparency there where they're going to let you think, right, for whatever reason, that you are very special. I just want you to know that you are special and you paid. So if you have $100,000, we'll get you on the New York Times bestseller list, I promise.
And that's the thing. You are special and you have to go into these things knowing that. Okay, pay to play. If somebody said to me, Nick, you're running a pay to play business, I'd be like, you know what? Yes, I am.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Amen.
I am. And until you run my business, you don't get to tell me how to run my business. You don't get to tell me how much I should charge, that I charge too little, that I charge too much, that, I'm just out for the money. You can think what you like. You don't have to work with me. You don't even have to like me. But guess what? Until you pay me, you'll never know what the value is. And I'll tell you, the people that come to me and pay me what I ask, pay it because they know my worth. And I have no problem standing up here and saying that. And it is not a cocky thing to say either. So I know Jen Lynn has a lot to say on this point. But what you see is what you get.
Yeah. I wanted to say kind of what Leslie was saying, because I wanted to make sure that everybody understands that, right? People that are on the covers of magazines, people that hit best-selling lists and all of those things, you pay for that because it is valuable branding. It is marketing of you and yourself. Doesn't take the value away from your story. It doesn't take the value away from what it is that you're doing. Everywhere that you go, every time I speak about this book, I pick up that book and I now get to speak about 51 co-authors, right? Nick gets to talk about 60 something that she's co-authored with and published. And I also speak about each co-author. I pick it up, I show the back of it every single time so that people see the names, the faces, the places, right? And understand. And I want to say this too. If you want to make money with your anthology, know that is an ROI for you too. You can sell your copies. You can sell copies with signed, right? People will pay for your signature, right? They'll pay for your, yes, they will pay for your Little John Hancock, right? Because it's something that, ooh, yes, I want that. You can use it in advertising. You can use it as a free gift. You can use it for when people come in to your different, summits or whatever it may be, or just because, hey, today, first person that's in on my show, you're getting the signed copy, right? You get to use it for so much. So if you are in it for the money, because there's nothing wrong with that, and I applaud anybody that's in it for the money, because you better be. You're in your business to make sure that you can sustain yourself, your family, your legacy, and it includes the money. That's all I'm saying about that, is that you can. So please don't not think that you're not going to. It's just on you to make sure that that happens. And there are as many innovative ways as you can think of to make that happen,
Yes, and the proof is in the pudding, and I will share with you guys right now. When this trilogy happened, 12 of the 36 of us were first-time co-authors. I can't tell you what it meant to me to have that. And when I say meant to me, it means I was scared shitless. Yes, I did just say that live. But because I know in my heart where I started and when I started and how nervous I was to write my very first piece. And I know, had that not been a good experience for me, it could have made or broken my spirit to ever want to write again. It felt like such a responsibility to give this person an experience that they felt they were just dipping their toe into really warm, inviting water, that they next time around may want to go ankle deep, right? That, as a publisher, is the most amazing feeling, to introduce someone to another side of themselves that fills you up so much. Yes, I have bloody bills to pay like everybody else, and I'm going to charge because this is my job.
Absolutely.
So I do want to just drop a couple quick facts here, because my goodness, I have no idea where this time went. An hour is up. I have one co-author who published for the very first time with me. She has now sold 20 books on her website, autographed, at $25 each. She's going to keep selling them for the rest of the time. Her website's up there. Okay? This book was published in October. I have another one that just purchased 25 co-author copies. And yes, you do get co-author copies at co-author pricing, not retail pricing. Let's start there. Because I knew one person who actually published with me, published in the last 2 books, that told me she had an experience, and right up front, you were not allowed to purchase the book at co-author pricing. She had to pay to be in the book and purchase retail. Okay?
Yep.
This person ordered 25 of them for an in-person event that she's going to be doing next month. And those books are going to be on her table for sale. Okay. I have another who purchased 12 copies because she lives in a town like in Colorado. She's up in the mountains. It's very, remote. And her local bookshop wants to put her book in there.
Mm-hmm.
So there are opportunities. This summer, I've already planned. All my neighbors know that this is what I do. I'm going out on my front lawn. I'm going to have a tent. I'm going to have lemonade. I'm going to whatever. I'm going to have all my books out there. And I'm going to have all the information out there about all the people who have written in my books. So that it's not just me. There's other people that are going to get the exposure as well. But this is going to be live on my front lawn. And, so there's so much you can do. And this little thingy here, I have this made on Amazon. And now while I'm reading my book with all the stories in it, I get to always see this and remind myself that this is my legacy. And you can do it too. Go right on Amazon. Look at your pictures and order it. Make them. Take them about with you. Yeah. So there's so much that you can actually do. This has just been so wonderful. I wish we had like 3 hours because each of you could probably share a whole hour of why it is you chose to be a published co-author, to be honest. Right? I have so much more that I could say as a publisher. I just want to thank everybody that is in the audience for all the great comments. I have to go back and answer them all. Somebody asked me how can they be on my show. Throw me a DM, guys. I'm on LinkedIn. Anything you want to say to me, anything you want to ask me, just throw it in my DM. I'm very good at getting back to people in a very timely fashion, including even telling people, no, thank you, even though you just slapped me. Please go to somebody else. Aaron, guys, I made a little something for you. It's, that this is not my forte. This is Aaron's forte, but they kind of threw something together. So let's see. And hopefully I haven't lost.
Let all that surrounds you in a moment freeze, taking control of the chaos, allowing us a moment to breathe. It's a feverish world we sometimes walk, at times feeling lost, a need to reach out and talk. It's a space to nick out, a space to reflect on fight, flight, or freeze. Together through unity, we rekindle the power to believe. We write our own journey with a pen mightier than the sword, passing words of knowledge, reflecting on that we cannot ignore. Leaving legacy in scripture, passing along knowledge with love, reminding lessons learned, spreading awareness below and above. It's a space to nick out, a space to reflect on fight, flight, or freeze. Together through unity, we rekindle the power to believe. Words left immortalized on pages within. With a leap of faith, we can start to begin something only fathomed in dreams that only you can start, by unfolding the pages that reveal your true heart. It's a space to nick out,
A space to reflect on fight, flight, or freeze. Together through unity, we rekindle the power to believe.
That was beautiful, Nick. Absolutely.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm just as surprised as you guys. I wouldn't say that I didn't do all those slides, because I did. And but I had some pretty canverish generic music to it.
You can tell you created it with a lot of thought, love, and care, and you can feel it.
But
Yeah.
that's Aaron Gibson, my remote producer, just surprised the hell out of me, and obviously wrote that song and put it up against that slide. And he
Everything you do, Nick.
couldn't gotten the words anymore on point, really, about how I feel about the people that surround me and write with me, and most of all, believe in me. Thank you.
Everything that you do, Nick, we can all feel your genuineness, your integrity, and the love and care that you put into your projects. But your projects are more than projects or anthologies. It's about the people first. And that comes through. And I just want to say that before we go. And I want you to know that. And I want your whole audience to know that. And one more thing I want to add, and I say this publicly in front of everybody, I want to thank you for not only giving me the opportunities you've given me and for giving me the push and the encouragement, but it's because of you that one of my goals that I will reach by the end of 2025 is to author my first solo book.
You will get there. We will all get there, because I still haven't written mine. But I dare to stand here and say I'm a publisher. But that's okay. Was there really any orders that we have to do with it? Not really. And great part about all of this is for me is that I'm still kind of new to this. And I'm okay with saying that, because a lot of my co-authors kind of learning along the journey with me. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I really, truly do. So I want to thank everybody for joining us there. Again, there's so many comments there that I really, really, really wanted to. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read that comment. It was huge. Sorry, Kinga. I'll have to read it after. But there are so many comments in there that I wanted to address that I saw, and I will make sure that I get back to all of them. Again, please reach out to me in DMs. There will be very, very many more opportunities coming down the pike. And the next one is We Choose to Be More Than Our Diagnoses. This book actually, it contains writers with so very many. This is not just mental health. This is severe anxiety, PTSD, ADHD, diabetes 1, yes, bipolar as well, auditory issues, even cancer. There are so very many, because there isn't one diagnosis out there. There are very, very many. And we have to face them. We can't, I wish that we could just say that we could heal them and treat them and they'd be gone. But we have to choose to be more. And I've chosen to be more and to embrace my bipolarness and let that actually be my brilliance. And I'm going to keep doing that and keep advocating for that. And there's so much more coming down the pipe for me now that I have the time to actually explore everything that I know that fills my heart. I get to now give it 100% of myself. And yeah, it's scary, but I have seen that I have quite a hell of a community to lean on and to help guide me and help get me where I'm going. So just thank you again, my beautiful friends. Forget panel, because they're my friends. And if I can hug you all, I will. Maybe one day soon. That summer backyard party at Nick's gonna have to happen. We're gonna have to pull all the RVs in for sure.
That would be fun. Well, Nick, thank you again for having us all together, and I look forward to continuing to hear about this new chapter that you're going on. It's going to be very exciting, and
Absolutely.
I look forward to the parts that I might jump on the bandwagon as part of that journey, and the rest I'll just watch you just shine.
Aren't you there already, Felipe?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not going to assume that I'm going to be part of every single thing that she does, but I'm definitely on her bandwagon in that sense. Yeah, but
you're already there, and you're going to continue to watch, and you're going to continue to write, because you have
that's
people that
true.
are gonna,
That's true. She's not going to get rid of me that easily. You're right. That's very, very true.
And the exciting thing is for me is that she's publishing my book. It's a woman publisher, right? And she's doing that this spring, and I'm really looking forward to working with her one-on-one to make sure everything gets done right, the best that it can be. So yeah, lots of big years.
I just want to encourage everybody that if you have a dream, if you have a mission, if you have a purpose that's in your heart begging to come out, go for it. And the more people you have telling you it's impossible, that's more of a reason for you to get it done. So just find your tribe and go for it.
Absolutely. And I'm very excited, as Leslie said, to work on helping her publish book 2 of Errata. I'll also be helping Jenlyn with her publication coming in the fall. Legacy 2025 is going to be the third, we'll get to the 5th, in the Legacy Chronicles. So very excited about that as well. There is one spot left in We Choose to Be More Than Our Diagnosis 1. The author's call went out second week of January. It's the second week of February. I couldn't be more thrilled. So please reach out and use hashtag TK, because a $25 donation goes in your name to the Transformation Kitchen by HR4U. I am grateful for all that has been given to me, because it's an opportunity for me to give back to you. Good night, and see you again in 2 weeks. Bye.
Adios.
Adios.
Free your mind and open your heart. Loosen control and embrace who you are. Set your soul free to dream. When a new day breaks and you feel you are standing at hell's gate, look back and you will see there is someone waiting for you. He, she, or me. Free your mind and open your heart. Loosen control and embrace who you are. Set your soul free to dream. Free your mind and open your heart. Loosen control and embrace who you are. Set your soul free to dream. These brambles and thorns that impede the path to our greatest selves are but the test to our willingness and strength to find our greatest wealth. Free your
a dream. Come dream with me. Come dream with me. Come dream with me. Come